بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله. Is it good? Okay. Bismillah. Bismillah. Is it loud? Is it okay? Is the voice okay?
Yes, I'm light, it's clear.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Dama.
Echo, yes.
Because okay, it's 4 a.m. here lah. Because I'm so sorry, my Tuesdays I very packed Tuesdays, so I have to put it at this timing. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا ونور قلوبنا وقرة أعيننا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة بلساني يفقهوا قولي واسد لساني واهدي قلبي واجعل كذلك بأحبابي أبدا وارزقنا كمال فتوح العارف والفقه في الدين معك والإخلاص الصدق واليقين والعافية والغنى والنصر ونصر الحفظ والدفاع والانتفاع وخير الدارين وعلم الأولين والآخرين. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم نود تعلم وتعليم وتذكر وتذكير ونفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والحث على التمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم ودعاء إلى الهدى ودلة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاة ثوابه سبحانه وتعالى مع لطف وعافية برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك علم لدني ومشرب الصافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك علم لدني ومشرب الصافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك علم لدني ومشرب الصافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة. الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله. I praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for gathering us. Alhamdulillah. Around the words of Imam al-Haddad, there's mentioned that I am like combining my classes. Right? So for this Tuesday morning class, inshallah, it will be fixed, on the in the morning on Tuesdays. Inshallah, 1 week we will do the Book of Assistance. Another week we will do Manhaj al-Abidin. It is also because it's in our class, right? And also because Muhammad, yeah, for the recording to make it easier for the recording. And for us to Muhammad, and for us to keep up with the recording or to get the recording correct. Mashallah. Right, so mashallah. And also alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I actually feel I need so much more fresh in the classes, like at this hour in the morning. It's 4 a.m. here. And inshallah, maybe you might hear the Joe, for the atmosphere in Hadramaut, in Tarim, in the early hours of the morning. Is before Fajr. Fajr will only come in an hour's time, and then you find Fajr coming in. Right, mashallah. Mashallah. The apologize for being late because the internet wasn't connecting just now. Now it connected. Mashallah. Alhamdulillah. Okay, mashallah, yesterday we were at the Murabba. Murabba is basically like a square. It's called square. Murabba, but it's square of Habib Abdurrahman al-Mashhur. It's basically an open space. And you can actually see a video of this Murabba. If you were to search Hadrab al-Saudan with Habib Mashhur, right, you will see this video, on I think on YouTube. that someone, may Allah bless that person for doing this video, whoever he is, that he actually videoed the Hadra Basaudan that happens every Tuesday. And today, I think in Singapore, it's happening with Hababat Farida, or his called Hababa Taiba, or Umi Taiba, who is of the family of Al-Habib Omar bin Hafiz, and a very close family. They're very direct. They're direct to the point. Hababa Maryam, whenever she would come to Singapore, right, she would never miss the house of Hababa Farida or Hababa Taiba. That's she's known by two names. I wish people would stop enabling the live transcription. I don't know how to disable this. If somebody can go onto Zoom and help me figure out how do you disable the enabling of the live transcription. So I wish people would not enable live transcription, right, because I don't like it. And so I just hope it will stop doing it. But I don't know how to disable it. Someone go on Zoom and try and like tinkle around and help me see how do we not allow people to. They used to ask for permission from the host before they enable the live transcription. Now they just enable it. So I don't know how to stop people from enabling it. Right? Because what happens is that when I read the Arabic, even sometimes when I speak in English, right, the live transcription comes up to be gibberish. And sometimes not even just gibberish, but lewd, right? Lewd and disgusting and dishonorable. Right, so and sometimes when you read Quran, the live transcription comes up to be something very, very foul. Right, so that's why I really, really wish that people do not do that. Right, don't enable live transcription. Right, just listen, mashallah. I hope that people don't do that. So I don't know how to disable it. But now it's enabled. You don't see it here, but if you go onto the YouTube, you will find all the gibberish coming out on the YouTube. Right? So I don't know how to stop people from doing that. But I hope someone here can just go on to Zoom and see where are the settings that we can disable the participants from enabling live transcription, or that they need to request from the host first, which I will definitely disallow and never allow for live transcription. Because of the dishonoring of the text of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The dishonoring of the words of the Prophet ﷺ. All the Arabic will not only be gibberish, but it will be foul and lewd, right? Something to the point that it is like on the side of fahsha, on the side of this ugly language to just bring it out. Right? It's just it's just heavier in the heart, right? Whenever the Quran is being recited, then the text that comes out at the bottom is just nonsense. Mashallah. Anyway, so I hope when I request this, people stop doing it. And then I hope someone can go on to the Zoom and see really where is the settings. I tried doing it, but can't find it. Okay, mashallah, I'm going to listen. So mashallah, I want to just share that yesterday we had a murabba of Habib Mashhur, Habib Abdul Rahman al Mashhur, and mashallah, in like we were there for a khatam of 2 books, right? We finished 2 books. Not me because I just came, right? But basically the people in the community, they were doing 2 books for Habaishin. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Okay. Someone messaged that as participants, someone that you just basically they will ask you, but I'm not talking about the Zoom, I'm talking about the YouTube. And so when someone requests for live transcription, right, as participants, you don't have to see it, yes, but it appears on the YouTube. So that's the problem. It appears on the YouTube. So I need to figure out how to not allow that. Mashallah. Help me get what I'm saying. But anyway, the murabba of Habib, going back there, and I'm in the murabba of Habib Abdul Rahman al Mashhur. These are people of the past, they walked streets of Tarim in the past. Right? We had a khatam of 2 books, Shama'il book and another book of the Tasawwuf. and also the Khatam of the Quran, mashallah. And Habiba Maryam was there, and Hamaisha was there, and a few of the teachers were there, mashallah. And they were telling us stories, the stories of these people, right? Mashallah, of the righteous, right, who have walked the streets of the rain, right? And then of the stories of Habib Abdurrahman Mashhur, is that he was, mashallah, he was so close to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was so close to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? And he's not the only one. And in fact, Imam al-Haddad, that day, a story, Imam al-Haddad, mashallah, true story that happened in our time, in our zaman. Whereby there's this very old lady in it, in Darul Zahra. Some people might know her, or maybe in Darul, you would see her around. They are, you see, I don't know why I'm random old ladies, but there are random old ladies, random old khalas, like they come to the Zahra, and they just pray there, right? They just stay there, and the girls know them, lah. They come and they just want to just be there. So this particular old lady, right? She comes, for like every, there's the murabba, of Habib Abdurrahman Mashhur. There's a video that goes around, right? But don't play the video now because you're gonna finish my internet. But if you can go onto the YouTube, you will see it, lah, right? Yeah, don't play the video. You're gonna finish my internet. So anyway, so this lady, right? She comes to the Zahra, and the thing about her is that whenever she would move, she would do any movements, right? Like she would sit, or she would stand, or she would take something, or she would like whatever she would do, right? She would salawat, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. You find this people here, like Allah, and they don't salawat like softly, some of us do. They go loud. They go like Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad ya al-mihdar. Right? She does that. She's like, ya al-mihdar. And she was sit and she Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad al-Haddad al-Haddad. Right? And she will say all these names of these awliya, of the saints of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, awliya. And I know we are in the book of Muslims class, so I'm going to talk about this story if that's okay. Because how Maryam mentioned all the stories, right? So then we go. It's for us to understand, who are these people who are speaking to us, mashallah. Whose book is this? Who is Imam al-Haddad? Mashallah, and the stories of Imam al-Haddad. Right? So it's just she has this habit, this woman. Right, and the thing about she's a very old woman, bent over, like really, it's kind of like really the skin is all like wrinkle and everything, like so they're a very beautiful woman in Hadramaut, in Tarim. So she does this, she does every movement, she will cry out a name of the awliya, she'll cry out one of the names of the awliya, ya Faqih Muqaddam, ya Faqih, with every movement, and she will salawat on the Rasulullah a lot. So and people find her at different events, like random events. People find her at different events, and we don't even know how she gets there, because she's by herself all the time. So you just see her appear at different venues, at different events, and you don't even know how she gets there, right? And you don't even know how she gets back. So anyway, she was basically at this particular event that was outside of Tarim, right? Especially for Safar, there are some events they will go outside, and they will gather in a particular place that is blessed, right? They do preserve the houses of the awliya and the places, the places of the awliya, they do preserve it, right? So there was one she went for an event outside of Tarim, and I tell you, I've been to some events, right? So like what happens is that like I would like ask Habiba Maryam, like how do I get to this particular event? And it's full of like locals. So she was saying, go to this place, it's like there are buses there, just get onto any bus. Right? So it's like really random things that you do. So you just go to this particular place, you don't know anybody at all, you don't know what's going on, right? And then suddenly you see all these buses, right? And then you just squeeze yourself onto one, and it brings you to the place. This time I was going to Ainat, it was outside of Tarim. and it was a Safar event now, the last Wednesday was Safar. So I went, and then like, I didn't know anyone there, so some of the Hababas there, right? And then so to come back to Tarim, right, like you again, right, you squeeze yourself on any random bus, right, and then it just brings you back to Tarim, and then you just figure yourself out. Basically lah. There's no Grab, there's no nothing, like so you just figure yourself out, right? And I just hope that the bus brings you to where you want to go. So then in this moment, she went to all these events. Then she got on one of the buses that brought her to the other side of Tarim, her house on the other side of Tarim, right? So the bus brought her back there, and he said Hawi. Right? So Hawi is the house of Imam al-Haddad, the masjid of Imam al-Haddad. Right, so the bus brought her to Hawi, right? And she's on the other side, and the bus dropped them off all there, and it was after Isha already. This is in our zaman, it's our times, our zaman. Right, so the bus, because got bus, right? Of course, our zaman, right? So the bus brought her to the other side of Tarim at Hawi, and then it dropped her off, and then everybody else went home, and there was just her and another person, another woman. And they both lived in the same area on the other side of Tarim. Right. So the other woman said to her, what are we going to do now? Right, we're stranded. There's nobody here. No one's gonna drive past us. It's past Isha, everyone's at home. And how are we gonna get back to our to our houses on the other side of Tarim? Right. And then the woman was like, you are at the house of Imam al-Haddad. Right, you are at the house of Imam al-Haddad. He will honor his guests. Don't worry, he will honor his guests. This our zaman. Imam al-Haddad passed away a few hundred years ago. So he will honor his guests. He will honor his guests. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Ya al-Haddad, Ya al-Haddad. And she will say, and she said, we are here at your house, and we need to get home. Right? So you need to figure it out, right? Figure out how you're gonna get home. She said to Muhammad, figure out how we're gonna get home. Right. So mashallah. So they sat there at the staircase by the masjid. They sat there at night, it's around night, what's going on. And then a car came by. And there was a young man in the car, driving the car. Right. And then she was like, and the car stopped in front of them. Right. And then the young man said to and these are like old women lah, they're old women. So the window came down, and then the young man said, where do you all want to go? And then they were like, oh, alhamdulillah, we want to go to this place. I'm on the other side of Tarim. And the young man was like, come on, I will send you there. I'll hop on, I will send you there. So okay, mashallah. So they got into the car, and then the young man sent them back to their homes. And then so when they arrived at their homes, this old woman, right, they asked the young man, thank you so much, son, like you helped us out. We know like your name and your family's name, maybe we might know your mother, or we might know your grandmother, or you might know some of the women in your family, right? And the man, right, without looking at them, right, he said to them, I am Abdullah al-Haddad, right? I am Abdullah al-Haddad, right? And then subhanallah, it was Imam al-Haddad. And when it was Imam al-Haddad, right? And they dropped off, and then mashallah, there was it, mashallah. So anyway, so Allah stories of the awliya, alhamdulillah. Many stories of the awliya. Imam al-Haddad, his connection to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that is really such that there was, I think I went through this story before. There was a man who wanted to go to Medina, really wanted to go to Medina, but he couldn't make it to go to Medina, right? And then he felt really, upset about it, couldn't go to Medina. And then he had a dream, right, in which in his dream he saw that Rasulullah came to him, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him that asked him, why are you upset? Then he said, I want to go and visit you, Ya Rasulullah, at Medina, but at the last minute, I couldn't get myself, to go to Medina. Then Rasulullah, and this man was in Tarim, he was in Tarim. And so Rasulullah said to the man, in his dream, don't you know that when you visit my son Al-Haddad, Al-Haddad, you will find me there. I'm with my son Al-Haddad, mashallah. Right, so it is of the rankings there of Imam Al-Haddad. Of course, and for them, at the Murabba, the one that this picture you're seeing right now, Habib Mashhur there, right at the corner on the other side, right? That's that particular spot, right? Habib Abdurrahman Mashhur, right? He was known to sit there and have a meal, right, with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in awakened state. I'm just going to speak about the sense of the awliya now. I'm just going to talk about the awliya. No, I mean now it's just in my lessons. Usually I don't talk so much about the awliya, because I don't know the people, right? Like what is your your belief in all these things, right? But you know what? Nothing is impossible for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's really about time for us to, if someone finds it hard to believe the stories of the awliya, then you ask Allah to cleanse your heart. Just cleanse your heart, right? Because the awliya, right, the saints, that it is a very large portion of our religion. It is a very large portion of our iman, our belief. Why? Because they have inherited the prophets, right? So the prophets are given miracles and the awliya are given karamat, right? And that if you say in your time, in our zaman, there is no prophet walking around amongst us. Yes, there's no prophet walking amongst us, but they are the awliya. You have the awliya who are walking amongst us, and that is so it is a huge portion of our religion that we speak about these people, right? And when you go to the mashallah, the grief of and that and just to explain about, and if anybody has any questions about all these things, please ask. Please ask your questions. If you have any doubts, if you have any issues or anything that's bothering you in your heart, please ask questions, right? Because what Shaitan tries to do is that he tries to make a barrier between us and the awliya, between us and the saints of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when there's a barrier between you and them, then there's a barrier between you and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? Because all of these righteous people, they attain the position that they attained in righteousness, in goodness, only by their connection to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? And in their salawat on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? So many of them, when they are asked, how do you reach this level, of closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of righteousness? And then know that most of all of this, I would say most, all of this awliya, they don't like to show off of their their karamat, right? of their miracles. They don't like to show it off, right? But Allah shows. Allah would show, right? Of their greatness, and sometimes they would show, to be a proof, to be a proof for the people, so the people are able to accept, and the people are able to follow, the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it has the same function as miracles in the time of the prophets, right? So in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, miracles are there, that miracles are to make firm a person's iman, a person's faith, right? And to be a proof for them, or a push for them, to follow the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And above and beyond all of these miracles that we see about the righteous, as we know of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, above and beyond the miracles that happened at his hands, that the water came out with his fingers, he split the moon, animals spoke to him, and so on, right? That above and beyond is his dedication and his servitude, his statehood to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is a greater miracle than anything else. That he stood in the night till his feet cracked. That is a greater miracle, subhanallah, than anything else. And of the awliya, you hear of such Imam Al-Haddad, right? You read stories of him praying Fajr with the wudu of Aisha, for 40 years. This is the kind of track record they have. And for 40 years, not missing a day, not missing one night. They will pray Fajr with the wudu of Isha, meaning that there is no sleep in the night. Subhanallah. And that is a miracle that is above all miracles. Subhanallah. Once my nephew, who is here, Isa, he's here. he said to my brother, because he hears all these stories about Aulia. Then he said to my brother, okay, you know what? I'm going to sit at home and I'm going to just slawat the whole day, right? And I'm not going to go to school, right? He doesn't want you don't want to go to school. He wants to be a wali. And he's going to slawat the whole day and he's not going to go to school. Right? So my brother was like, when he texted me, he was like, how do I answer these kind of things? Right? What do I say to my son? And I said to him, you know what? Tell him if he can get right all 5 prayers at the masjid at takbiratul ihram, at the beginning of the prayer, all 5 prayers for 40 days. If he can do that, right, subuh, zuhur, asr, maghrib, isha, and marhaban, ahlan wa sahlan, you can stay at home and leave school. Like if you can do that, right, and it's all about the nafs. It's all about the nafs. So the awliya, they have no nafs. They have no nafs. Right, there is a story of Habib Imam al-Haddad, and Imam Haddad stories, right? So now I'm going to go into more Imam Haddad stories. I said Imam al-Haddad, Imam al-Haddad, and I hope that you all are enjoying the stories because I like the stories, mashallah, and I really hope that and this will build love for in our hearts, right, for the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for living the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is part of our religion. It is part of our religion. We are to love the awliya, right, because they are of the sha'airillah, right? They are of the symbols, the signs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed on this earth, and for you to honor, and for you to exalt, and for you to have in your heart a ta'zeem, it is wajib, right, for us to have in our heart, an honoring and an exaltation of the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these people are first, as we mentioned, they're first and foremost known for their continuous obedience and worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the point that as we mentioned, that they never, that their mouth has never says anything except for what is pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How far are we from this, right? That we only engage in conversations, right, that is pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How far are we from this? How much of our conversation in the day, just the conversations in the day, which count what goes on in the WhatsApp, right? Just our conversation in the day. How much of our conversations are just null and void and even sinful, subhanallah. The awliya, nothing of this form, mashallah. Mashallah, like it hurts them. It actually hurts them to hear, this empty talk. It hurts them. So anyway, Habib Abdul al-Haddad, Imam Abdul al-Haddad, right? He has a sheikh, and his sheikh is Habib Umar al-Attas, right? So Habib Umar al-Attas, he is Sahib Ratib al-Attas. So if you know Ratib al-Attas, right, the one who wrote it, the one who wrote Ratib al-Attas is Habib Umar al-Attas, right? Imam al-Haddad is a student, right? And Imam al-Haddad wrote Ratib al-Haddad, right? There are 2 Ratibs, so you usually will hear people read it after Maghrib. So Habib Umar al-Attas, right? Is Habib Umar al-Attas. He's a sheikh. He's in old age. He's a sheikh, right? His student is Habib Abdul al-Haddad, who's a young man, right? At this point in time, a young man, mashallah. And so someone had asked, and when they both wrote their ratib, they were at different parts of Hadramaut. Imam al-Haddad was in Tarim, and Habib Umar al-Attas was in Huraida. It's called Huraida. He was in Huraida. And when they both wrote the ratib, they didn't know that each other were writing a ratib, right? So basically, they were both requested from the people to write a ratib. And ratib basically means like a compilation of dhikrs, of azkar, a compilation of azkar that come from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You'll find the sources from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of course, right? So, but what these imams do is that like sometimes for us, right, you come across the hadith, and Rasulullah said, whoever reads this 3 times in the morning, right, they get this. They get this protection, or they are free from the hellfire, or and so on and so forth. Right? So and you come across like a lot of hadiths that speak like this. If you read, whoever reads this number of times in the evening, whoever reads this number of times per day, whoever reads this. So then a lot of hadith and also some that go in this way. And in fact, there are also narrations whereby there's the companions who say, every morning you would hear the Prophet ﷺ recite this, and every evening he would recite this, right? So it's really like it's so many narrations. So for us lay people, right, non-scholars, right, who don't memorize hadith, it could be difficult for us to follow all of these narrations, because it's like this riwayat and then this narration and that narration and I'm sure like when I was growing up, I felt the same thing. Like I would learn all this stuff and then I'm like I'll write it down in my notebook, and then I will try and remind myself to read it in the morning, in the evening, in the evening, right? You know what? Our imams have done it for us, right? They compile all these narrations into a compilation of zikrs, right? And then they arrange it. They arrange it in a way whereby it's easy on the tongue and on the memory. You can actually memorize this, So then they serve it to us. Then they serve what they have done. They serve it to us. So all we have to do is follow whatever they wrote down. Mashallah. This is why it's what a ratib is basically. Like a ratib is something like this. Right? So it's a compilation of azkar, of dhikrs that is from the Prophet ﷺ, right? That all these imams have done us the very good favor, right? Of basically did all the homework for us. Basically, they did all the homework for us, right? They know that the authenticity, the sahihness of all these dhikrs, and then they put it down and they arranged it right in a way that is easy for us to recite and memorize. Mashallah, right? So they did this. And then they both sent each other their ratib, and then Habib Omar Al-Attas, who is the sheikh, he's the sheikh, he's much older than Imam Al-Haddad, who's a young man. Right? He said to Imam Al-Haddad, right, had I known that you were writing a ratib, because the ratabs are very similar, right? Had I known that you were writing a ratib, I would have done mine, because yours is enough, for the people, mashallah. Haddad is the student, mashallah. And there was once Habib Omar Al-Attas was asked about Imam Al-Haddad. And Habib Omar Al-Attas has a very strong love for his student, young student, Imam Al-Haddad, very strong love, because they can see, right? They can see the level, of another wali. Right? No, only the awliya know the awliya. Mashallah, the awliya know the awliya. And they can see the level of another wali. Right? And then so Imam Shaykh Abdul Rahman Al-Attas, right? He was asked, what do you say about Al-Haddad? And what do you say about Abdul Al-Haddad? And he said that Tareem has nurtured him. Tareem has nurtured him, meaning that he has gotten the akhlaq, the character and the ibadah, the worship of the people of Tareem. Mashallah. And then when they asked, Imam Al-Haddad about, Shaykh Umar or Habib Umar Al-Attas, and Imam Al-Haddad said, Habib Umar Al-Attas, he is just, huwa Rabb wa qalb. He is his Lord and his heart. There's nothing else. Like this person, that's all he is. It's all about his heart and his Lord. That's all he is, mashallah. But the akhlaq, mashallah, the akhlaq. This is actually one more story now. Go into the book, mashallah. Actually, all the stories are also here in the book, right? So there's one more story whereby there was once a group of people, right, who were going to Habib Umar Al-Attas' house, right? Because Habib Umar Al-Attas, he's very humble, and they all are. They're all very humble people. But if you look at their worship, subhanallah, and when you look at people of our time and the arrogance, in the way people of our time speak, and sometimes in the way they dismiss the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so much arrogance. Then when you look into their worship, there's nothing there, compared to the worship of this righteous people, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there was once like the students of Habib Umar Al-Attas were going to his house because he had a newborn. Funny story lah. So they were going to his house because he had a newborn, right? And so on the way there, they passed by his neighbor, and his neighbor said, where y'all going? And then they said, to the house of Habib Omar Al-Attas, he has a newborn baby. And we're gonna go there and we're gonna, visit him and congratulate him for his newborn baby. And we brought all this food, right? For us to celebrate the newborn baby of Habib Omar Al-Attas. Then they said to the neighbor, do you want to come with us? Do you want to come with us, to congratulate him on his newborn, right? And then the neighbor was like, like, why should we go? Why should I go and congratulate him on his newborn, right? When he did not come to me to congratulate me on my newborn. And they said, what newborn do you have, right? If you didn't know you have any newborn, right, that you had. And the man is a Bedouin man. He says, well, I had a newborn, and then they said, we didn't hear about your newborn. And then he said, yeah, right, my donkey gave birth. Right? My donkey gave birth, so I have a newborn. And no one came to celebrate my newborn, right? Especially not, Habib Omar Al-Attas. Right? And the people were like, they dismissed him, and they were like, are you serious? Are you seriously upset that no one came to congratulate you about your newborn donkey? Right? And they dismissed him. Right, and then they went on to, and they actually got upset with him, like with his bad adab, his bad etiquette. And they're like, we're inviting you to a sheikh's, house, a big sheikh, like an alim, he has taught us and everything, and his newborn will pursue him. And you are here talking about getting upset about no one congratulating you about your donkey who gave birth. Right, so they got upset with him. So they went to the house of Habib Omar Al-Attas, and he could see on their faces, like, as if they were just agitated. They were agitated about something. Right? So he asked them, what's up with you guys? Like, why you all in that way? Right? And then they said, this neighbor of yours, right? He's such bad adab. Like we invited him over to congratulate you about your newborn baby, right? And then he's like, upset with you, not wanting to come over, right? Because you didn't congratulate him on his newborn donkey, right? And then and then Habib Omar Al-Attas, right? He lowered his head, and then he subhanAllah, as he was overwhelmed, right? And then he said, he's right. And my neighbor's right. We have wronged him. We didn't give him his rights. He's correct. We are wrong. We didn't take care of him. We didn't look into his matters, his affairs. We didn't see what would make his heart happy. Right? And he kept saying that. And he says, you know what? Get up now, and bring the food. We're gonna go to his house and congratulate him right now on his newborn donkey. SubhanAllah. This is what they would do, mashallah. They wouldn't dismiss this kind of behavior. Right? But they would, mashallah, they would, Allahumma salli Muhammad, right? They would go and make people happy. Right? It's called, idkhal surur fi qulubin nas. It's called, to bring happiness to the hearts of people. Mashallah. Right? So, mashallah, so they went over, and then the man was very happy that everybody came over to congratulate him by his newborn donkey. Mashallah. So anyway, in the mention of the awliya, like when you speak about the awliya and you read the stories of the awliya, right, you feel such peace and expansion in your chest, right? That when we, subhanAllah, when we visit, of the righteous, which is why we try our best to go and visit the righteous, right? You feel closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And when we speak about, Imam al-Haddad, it's coming into his book, right? And the books of Imam al-Haddad are accepted by the Ummah of Rasulullah. It's accepted, and we know that it's qabul from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because it is spread far and wide. And that is a sign of the sincerity of the great Imam, right? That this book, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has caused for this book to be translated and spread far and wide, hundreds of years after the death of Imam al-Haddad. And it was said that Imam al-Haddad was known, his ranking was known only after his death, right? Only after his death, then people knew of his ranking. People used to just, say of him as the blind man, right? The blind old man who lives over there, right? SubhanAllah. And to the point whereby, like, in his house, right, there'll be like small corners where they would indicate, here is where Imam al-Haddad used to teach his students. And who were his students? Two people. I have two people, right? And obviously this was Habib Zain, Habib Ahmad bin Zaid al-Habshi, right? The one who wrote the Jamia, right? So and there was once about his two students who were seated by him, and like basically like the class is at the landing of the stairs, at the staircase landing. That's where they would have their class, Imam al-Haddad. But they would sit there, and two of them would sit in front of him, right? And they would have a class. And there's three of them. Someone as great as Imam al-Haddad. So which is why I never think that the greatness of a person is in the size of the majlis, right? And you should never think that, because look at our zaman. Like our zaman, how many concerts are huge and massive, right? And this have no qima if Allah. There is no weight, there is no importance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about these things. In fact, they are sinful. And how many concerts, right? So, and how many people who are righteous, right? And when I'm here, in Hadramaut, I when I used to see Baba Maryam, and it used to be just like 3 or 4 of us in front of her, studying with her, just like it was a group that small, and I was just think to myself, she is a gem. She's just this person. If her knowledge is in English, like how would this be celebrated? Subhanallah, like there will be like huge, massive, theaters of people coming to study. But that was what it is. Allah, Allah comes to his awliya, mashallah. I said, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. And there's a story about that. It's also very, one of his students was saying to the other, Imam al-Haddad is so great, mashallah. He is a kutub, kutub meaning one of the high, in fact, the highest ranking of the awliya, right? So this is so great. We should go and tell people about him. We should go and tell the people about him. Then the other student was like, shh, don't say anything. Like right now, we have him to all to ourselves. It's 2 of us and him, right? We have him to all to ourselves. Don't tell anybody about this. Mashallah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants his awliya to be known, and therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has caused for the books of Imam al-Haddad to be spread far and wide, mashallah. Okay, I think I went through all of that stories, and also I went through the Imam al-Haddad said in one of his statements, memorize something from me for you could be asked of it in the barzakh, right? So the barzakh is basically the world of the graves, right? Is the world that comes to this world, right? And really all of this, right? It is really from permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? That these are the scenes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right, so to show that you are a student of Imam al-Haddad, right? So memorize something from him, and alhamdulillah that most of us, I hope, that have memorized at least the niyat of Imam al-Haddad. We have at least memorized that. Imam al-Haddad, if not memorize more, right? And it is said that whenever Imam al-Haddad would hear a new hadith, mashallah, all the awliya, whenever he would hear a new hadith, or a hadith he has never heard before, right, he would actually call onto Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in awakened state. They're not sleeping, they're awake. In awakened real life state, he would call out to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Rasulullah would come and see him in awakened state. Some would come and see Imam al-Haddad in awakened state, right? And then Imam al-Haddad would check the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam directly, mashallah. Mashallah, he would ask us directly, is this hadith, do you say this? Do you say this hadith? Mashallah. And then he would know when it is authentic or when it's not authentic, mashallah. Mashallah. And he's not the only one, and there are many of the awliya that can do this, right? They could even, when they hear a hadith, they can smell the scent of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they know that it is a sound hadith. And they can actually smell the scent when the hadith is being recited. They can smell the scent of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from the words of the hadith. Mashallah. This is all, mashallah. And it's really Imam al-Haddad's closeness to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Now, right, so it is said that Right, so I think I went into his childhood, right? I went to his childhood. So the stories appear in my head, but I'm telling another story, then I forget what story I want to say. There's one more story that I wanted to mention just now, but I forgot what story I wanted to mention about Imam al-Haddad and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There was a story about Imam al-Haddad and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but now it's gone from my mind. Okay, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. If it comes back, I will tell it, inshallah. So it is said that so it said about this book, Risal al-Mu'awana, رسالة المعاونة ومظاهرة ومؤازرة لراغبين المؤمنين في سلوك طريق الآخرة. In the book, the treatise of mutual assistance, mutual support, and mutual helping or strengthening to those who desire among the believers to tread the path of the Akhirah, by Imam al-Habib Abdullah bin Alawi bin al-Haddad al-Hadrami al-Shafi'i, ونفعنا الله به وبعلومه. Okay, bismillah. Right. So Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. So it is said that Al-Habib Umar, he mentioned about this book, he said that whoever wants a path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is sincere in wanting the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right, then you must come to the Risalat al-Mu'awana. You must come to the book of assistance, right, for if you want a path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right, Imam al-Haddad, mashallah, Imam al-Haddad, there is not a single sunnah that he knows of, or you can even say exists, right? Because his knowledge is so wide, mashallah. These people are people of worship, they are people of knowledge as well, right? They have high knowledge. But some people, they are only of worship, right? They worship in abundance, right? And then but the knowledge is minimal. Then some people, they are people of knowledge, they have a lot of knowledge, but their worship is minimal. The awliya, it is both. Right? They are, you say, they are oceans of knowledge. Right? They know, like, they're oceans of knowledge. And then at the same time, right, if you look at their worship, you're always wondering, what am I doing? You just feel like, I can't even begin to compete. Subhanallah, I can't even begin to compete. I attend Habba Salma's Monday classes, right? And she was going through us, the way of the people of the Ba'alawi, and she's going through us the worship, of these people, right? And then I was sitting there and just like being so stunned by really the amount of worship daily, these are daily worships that the people do, that the common person does. This is so amazed. And I was sitting there all amazed, and not writing any notes. I had my pencil, and my notebook in front of me, but I was sitting there amazed, and I didn't write down anything. And then she was like, "Why are you writing down?" She saw me, sitting there, and she was like, "Why are you writing down notes? Take down notes, so you could do it." And then I was like thinking to myself, I'm trying to teach the commas and things that are basic, mashallah. And then like so I wasn't writing down because like I at that point I just knew that I can't even begin. I don't know where to begin. Mashallah, to follow this way, mashallah. And Imam al-Haddad, he said that there is not a single sunnah, right? Except that I have hoped that I have acted upon it. And that is his humility, the way he speaks, right? It's just basically he acts on every single sunnah. He acts on every single sunnah, right? And how many sunnahs do we know? We don't know, right? But they know, mashallah, in the thousands and hundreds and thousands of sunnahs that they know of Rasulullah, right? And even at the end of his life, right? He allowed for his hair to go long, right? Just to get the sunnah of hair that reached the earlobe or reached the neck, the neck of Rasulullah. So he allowed for his hair to grow long just to get the sunnah of of that kind of length of hair, right? And then, mashallah, every single sunnah, right? Every single sunnah, right, that he has heard of, he has acted upon it. Right. We spoke about the childhood of Imam al-Haddad, right? Do we speak about the childhood of Imam al-Haddad? Do we? Let's see. What do we do? Do we go to the start or what had it? Okay, inshallah. Okay, tamam. But there's a question here. Someone sent me a private question. The Azan, Allah. Allah. مرحبا بكم. مرحبا وسهلا. شلون الله المستعان. شلون I don't know if you all can hear the Azan. Allah. Can I hear? الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة اللهم سيدنا محمد والصيلة والفضيلة والشرف والعافية وبعث مقام الحمد لله يا رحمن الرحيم. رب اغفر لي ولدي يا رب اغفر لي ولدي يا رب اغفر لي ولدي يا رحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم يا عظيم استغفر احسن يا خفي السوري يا ربي على سيدنا محمد. اللهم لك الحمد شكرا ولك المن فضل ودرجة الحق يا ميسر كل عسى كل كثير يا صاحب كل فريق أجمع كل كثير يا صاحب كل فريد ويا مولى كل فقير ويا قوي كل ضعيف كل مخيف يسير على مكة عسير يسير عسير عليك يا عسير. اللهم يا من تسير حاجتنا كثير وأنت من القدر. اللهم إني أخاف منك بحق ما يخاف منك الجميع يخاف منك. اللهم بحق سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم يحرصنا بعينك لا تنام وكلفنا بك لا يرام وارحمنا بقدرك علينا ولا يقبلنا لا نهلك وأنت ثقتنا ورجاؤنا صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. والحمد لله رب العالمين. عدد خلقه رضا الله عشان كلماته. اللهم إنا نسألك زر بركة في الأمر والصحة في الجسد والسعة في الرزق وتوبة قبل الموت وشفاء في الموت وبغفر بعد الموت وعفوا من الحساب ونجوى من العذاب من الناس من الجنة ورزقنا النظر إلى وجهك الكريم صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. والحمد لله سبحانه ربك رب العالمين عما يصفون. السلام عليكم والحمد لله رب العالمين. في جزاك الله على خلق الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. الفاتحة. Okay, I'm going to ask one question, then I'm going to read the first part of the book. I just to get the barakah of the book. We began late today, so I'll just read the first part of the book. Okay, now. So one question here. So someone messaged this in private. She said that she went to Maqam Habib Noor at Haji Muhammad Salim Mosque recently and saw a man closing his eyes and just standing in front of Maqam Habib Noor. I did this after Maghrib prayer and it made me question a few things. So you read online history about it and it came to know that there are people who go to Maqam to ask for help and bring flowers and so on. Is this allowed? Okay, good question. So basically, you saw a man standing in front of the Maqam with his eyes closed. And of course, we don't know what anything of what this man is and what he's doing now. Of course, you have no idea. Right? So of course, with regards to any matter, I'll answer the question in parts. Right. So the first part of to address the question, right? First and foremost, as Muslims, what is wajib on us is that when we see another Muslim, no matter what it is, right? Even if someone is doing, whatever it is, right? When you see another Muslim, right, that it is wajib, it's compulsory on us right? To have the highest opinion of that person, right? To have a husnul zan, right? A husnul zan is the highest opinion or highest assumption of that person and what they are doing. That is called a husnul zan, right? So, like, so for example, like if I would tell this man and you're doing this, standing, with his eyes closed, right, in front of the maqam of Habib Noor, right? I would say, okay, he's doing zikr, he's doing salawat, he is being in the moment, right? He is, just he has a lot of problems that day. He's finding his rest, being close to one of the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so I'm just like I there are many possibilities of what he's doing, right? And basically I would even say to myself, you know what, is his hal, is his issue, it's his, state of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, kind of none of my business, right? I would say that to myself, and then I would say to myself, why are you looking at other people? Mashallah. That's one thing. Okay, I'm not recommending you, but I'm just saying that this is what I would do to myself. I would say this to myself. And then sometimes, I look around in the majlis and then you look at the people and you think to yourself, why are you doing that? You should be in the moment. You should be, in your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at this point. Right? That's this one thing. Okay, so first and foremost, no matter where you are, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, right, there is a default, right, that when you see other people, it is wajib, compulsory on you to have the best opinion of everybody else. That's one thing. Secondly, right, and someone asked me this also recently about the entire question of tawassul, right, and I will explain this, right, in a I would say academic manner, mashallah, right, and this is why I also really want to encourage people to ask your questions, right, because, right, as said in this question here, right, she read this online, right, so online there's all kinds of things that's going on online, right, that is really, Allahu A'lam, I'll say Allahu A'lam, right? Our husnul zon about what they are writing online, and we say Allahu A'lam, and Allah will handle the matter, right? It's not our matter, right? But basically, when we speak about tawassul, okay, and I will just speak a bit about this, right? Tawassul is basically to ask Allah, right, subhanahu wa ta'ala, for something that you want, right? You ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for something that you want by the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for something, all right? So the definition, tawassul is to ask Allah for something that you want by Allah's love for something, some action, some place, some time, someone. All right. So I gave 4, right? Something, some action, some place. I gave 5 actually. Some time or someone. Okay. So for example, something. All right. So something would be, for example, the Kaaba. So you say, Ya Allah, by the greatness of the Kaaba, please, Ya Allah, cure me of my illness. You can do that. It's not shirk, right? So you are doing a tawassul. It's called tawassul. You're going by the Kaaba, Ya Allah, by the greatness of the Kaaba, that Ya Allah, I don't even know the greatness of Kaaba. Allah knows, right? Please, please help me in my emotional situation. And for example, right, that is by something, okay? Or for example, sing Zamzam. Ya Allah, by the blessings in Zamzam, Ya Allah, please open my heart to memorize the Quran. Oh, Ya Allah, by the blessings of Zamzam, Ya Allah, please stop me from the sins I commit. You get it? Just by something. Okay, right? And later on, I'll give the proofs all from Quran and Hadith. Right? From the Quran itself, there are proofs of doing this, and then in the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there are proofs of doing this, right? The proofs of this, okay. And then so by some, where would I go? By something, then some place, for example, some place. So a place, very very simple. Right? You go to Makkah, you go to Medina, you make your du'as, you go to the masjid, you make your du'as, right? And we go to this place of the awliya or the maqam of the awliya to make our du'as. These are places that are blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we know that this can be done, right? Because of the story of Nabi Zakaria, when he entered into the mihrab of Sayyidah Maryam, and he found that there was food with her, food that was not, in season, right? And he asked her, "Oh Maryam, where do you get this food?" And Sayyidah Maryam said, "It is from Allah. Allah gives to whomsoever He wants." And Allah says in the Quran, at that point, Nabi Zakaria raised his hands. And see, Nabi Zakaria is a Nabi. And Sayyidah Maryam is a non-Nabi. She's not a Nabi. But Nabi Zakaria took the barakah. She took the blessing of the place of Sayyidah Maryam because she worships there. Right? And he made a dua to Allah at that point in time, and he asked for righteous progeny for his children. And the very next verse, Allah says, the angels came to Nabi Zakaria when he was praying, and they gave the good news of a child, of Yahya. Right? So Nabi Zakaria taking the blessings of a place. Okay, there is the blessings of a time. Right? Time. So what I was in just now, right? So like I would say, Ya Allah, by the purity of the last third of the night, Ya Allah, right? Where you promised, right? Where you sit in the hadith, Ya Allah, that you descend, to the lowest heavens, and you say, you come close to your servants, and you say, is there anyone that is asking that I might give him? Is there anyone that is seeking forgiveness that I might forgive him? Is there anyone that is calling out that I might answer him? And I say, Ya Allah, here I am calling out, Ya Allah, here I am asking, Ya Allah, here I am seeking your forgiveness, Ya Allah. So please forgive me by the sanctity of this hour that you have sanctified. Right? So that is called tawassul by zaman, by time. As we're saying, by this moment, right? So like, for example, when rain falls, right? So when rain falls, you say, Ya Allah, by the blessings of rain, Ya Allah, please, Ya Allah, cleanse my heart of diseases, right? At the end of a class, so time as well. Ya Allah, by your love for ilm, for knowledge, Ya Allah. So this is called tawassul. You do it in this way. That is by time, right? And then by person. Right, so by person, by the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves. And this was taught to us by our Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where a man once came to him, and this man was blind, right? And he said, "Oh Muhammad, make dua for me that Allah cures me of my blindness." And Rasulullah said to him, "If you want to be cured, go and pray 2 rak'ahs." So see, again, taking tawassul by an action. This is an action, I go to action, no, I didn't go to action. But you can do it by an action. So like, for example, you read Surah Yasin, you do, a good deed, you give out in charity, you pray 2 rak'ahs, you do some good deed, then you say, Ya Allah, by this good deed, Ya Allah, I'm asking you for this. That is called tawassul, right? And this is something that I will give you an example in a while, but this is another example. So there's some people go and pray 2 rak'ahs, and then say this, and he gave the man a dua. Right, which is basically, Ya Allah, I ask you by the rights of Muhammad, right, by the truth of Muhammad, and it says, "Oh Muhammad, I ask Allah by your rights, right, to cure me of my blindness." And then the next thing was the man was cured of his blindness. That is one thing. And just to start the entire thing in the dua of going to the masjid, and this dua came from Rasulullah. The dua of going to the masjid, Allahumma inni as'aluka بحق السائلين عليك وبحق الراغبين إليك وبحق ممشاي هذا إليك. Right? This dua of walking to the masjid has 3 tawassul in it. And this is from who? The Prophet. Ya Allah, I ask you of the rights of all the people who ask of you. So just anybody, I'm asking you by all these people, I don't know who they are. But I'm asking you of all these people, and the right of all those who desire you, whoever they are, mashallah. There is a dua of Rasulullah, doing tawassul with people. And Rasulullah is the prophet, the highest prophet, the greatest prophet, and he is seeking a way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through people in his ummah, mashallah. And he says, and by the right of this walking of mine towards you, I ask you. It comes to dua thereafter, the dua to the mosque, right? So this is one thing, and it's called tawassul, right? So it could be that someone goes to Habib maqam, Ya Allah, by your love for this Habib, right? By your love for this wali, Ya Allah, I ask you. Okay? So the dua is to who? The dua is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ascribing power to who? Ascribing power to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no power. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. There is no power and no might except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there's nothing ambiguous about what's being done. There's nothing sinful. There is nothing wrong about what's being done. Right? Because why? You're asking Allah by the right of something Allah loves, or someone Allah loves, or some place Allah loves, or some time Allah loves, or some action Allah loves. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the first thing. Secondly, the other way some people might do it this way is that when you come and you right now, right, is that there's like Habib Muhammad Mihdar in Singapore, right, and Habib Kadim was there as well. Okay, if you get to see them, right, for example, you can see them and you say to them, Habib, dua for my child, Habib, dua for me, Habib, dua for us. Or you go to your mother or your father and you say, Ma, can you dua for me? Dua for my illness, Abba, or you go to your grandmother, you say, can you dua for me? Can you please dua for my exam forever? Dua for my exam, dua for my exam. This is how we were when we were young. And you go to your grandmother, then you ask her, dua for my exam. Today I got exam, dua for my exam. It's our concern. Dua for my salat, mashallah. And this is normal, right? To ask someone else to dua for you. It's normal. We do it to each other. Dua for me, dua for me. I dua for you. We know that as Muslims, right, it is compulsory for us to believe that when someone dies, it's compulsory, wajib, for us to believe that when someone dies, they don't cease to exist. Because we believe in the lives of men. We believe that we are in a life right now, and that death is just transition. That's all it is. Birth is transition. Death is transition. Before we came into this world, we were in the world of the souls. But we were a soul with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? And then when our mother got pregnant with us, right, at the 4th month, right, the angel takes our soul and blows our soul into our body. Then we get born, we come into this world. So it's a transition from a realm of the souls to the realm of the dunya, the physical world. Then when we die, our souls leave our physical body that was temporary in the first place. They leave our physical body to go to another dimension, another realm, that's the realm of the graves, right? And then thereafter comes the judgment, and then paradise or hellfire. So this is our aqidah, our belief system. And no Muslim can disagree with this. If you disagree with this, then you have come out of the belief of Islam. Because it is wajib on us to believe that there is a life after this life. Right? Wajib, which means that we don't cease to exist. Nobody ceases to exist when they die. It's just that their physical body ceases to function, right? But their soul has entered another realm, right? Okay, this understood. When you go to a grave, right, do you think that in the grave is a corpse that is useless? Do you think that? Can you think that? No, you can't, right? Because we are told that in the grave, right, people are, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, all right, because we are told that in the grave that people are, they are being, Rasulullah said that it is either a hufra min hufr in nar, or rawda min radil jannah. It is either a pit from the pits of the fire, or it is a garden from the gardens of paradise, right? So, which means that people are being tortured, or people are being they're blissful in their graves, which means that they are existing in their graves, right? So when you go to someone's grave, it's like you're going to their house. That's their house. Right? It's as if you're going to their house. So it's like when I go to, like if you come to my house, and then you sit with me, then you say, Ustazah, dua for me, please. And I dua for you, dua for me as well. Right? So when you go to the graves of this awliya, and especially of the Anbiya of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu, we are his ummah. Allah will not deny us of going to visit him as how the Sahaba did. The Sahaba went to visit him and they would ask dua from him. Right? So why can't we do the same thing? And why are we denying? Can we be denied? No, it's just because we live in a different time. Of course not. Allah is Kareem, Allah is generous. So can I go to the grave of Rasulullah and say, Ya Rasulullah, can you dua for me? Can I do that? Of course I can. Right? I do it with my mother. Right? So I can definitely do it with Rasulullah. Ya Rasulullah, dua for me. So am I ascribing power to Rasulullah? At all not, right? I'm not showing any power to Rasulullah. What am I doing? I'm asking him to dua. To who? Allah. Right? So eventually the dua goes to who? Allah. So I can dua myself. Yes, you can. Right? But I can ask someone else to dua for me because they are less sinful, they are more righteous, they are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I respect them. And dua of somebody else or somebody else is answered. Right? So even if they're not, even if Allah alam, if someone thinks they're not righteous, more righteous than them, right? And if, in fact, that is a proof of even still asking their dua, like how Rasulullah asked Sayyidina Umar to dua for him, and Sayyidina Umar said, Ya Rasulullah, I'm going for Umrah. And then Rasulullah says, Sayyidina Umar, oh my little brother, which was so beloved Sayyidina Umar, and he called him that, oh my little brother, don't forget us from your good du'as. Right? Don't forget us from your righteous du'as. And Sayyidina Umar said that, oh, Rasulullah called me a name that I would not trade the whole world for this name, which was Ukhay. Yeah, Ukhay, which is, oh my little brother. MashaAllah. There's someone greater, Rasulullah, asking someone lesser, Sayyidina Umar, who is also great, but he's lesser than Rasulullah, someone greater asking someone lesser for a dua. MashaAllah. So we go to the grave, and we are visiting the person who's in the grave as if you visit them in their houses. Right? And what do you do when you visit a Habib or a Sheikh or someone who's righteous? What do? You say, can you dua for me? Right? Can you dua for me? That's basically it. Right? So nobody ever prays to people. I don't think anyone, that's how Khusuzan as well. You can't think that people go to graves and they're praying to the grave, right? Or they're ascribing power to the graves. That is called su'uzan. That is called having a bad opinion of people. And people out there who say of other Muslims that they're praying to graves. What's your proof? Did you hear them say, oh grave, please give me? Do you hear that? What's your proof to say that there are people out there who say people are grave worshippers? What's your proof? Do you hear them say, oh grave, give me money? Oh grave, please cure me. Like, oh, person of the grave, please cure me. Have you ever heard anyone say that? No, you never hear anyone say that, right? But all you see is them going to the grave. You don't know what they say. So our host is on, a good opinion. Right? Mashallah. And people are just basically just they are Allahumma salli Muhammad, right? The iqamah. Okay, inshallah. I'll read the first line and I will stop there. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. ربي يسر وأعن يا كريم وافتح بالحق وأنت الفتاح العليم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. It is for us to memorize the first line in the book whereby Imam al-Haddad says ربي يسر وأعن يا كريم, oh my Lord, ease and help, oh the most generous, وافتح بالحق وأنت الفتاح العليم, and open up for us in truth, in righteousness, and you are the one who opens, the one who knows. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. All perfect you are, Ya Allah. There is no knowledge for us except what you have taught us. For surely you are the one who knows, you are the one who is wise. And inshallah, I was reading this part at the time. Never mind, next time I will read the part, finish reading the part. Right, but inshallah, next time I'll go through the rest of the translator's preface, which I forgot to go through. And then I will go through the first line, inshallah. As mentioned, I'm just going to take my time with this. Right, so if you're looking for something to be quick, then this is not the class lah. Right, I will take my time. Inshallah, it's really about internalizing and transformation, and just really being immersed in our religion. Inshallah. Okay, alhamdulillah, we're going to start for today. Barakallahu feekum. I apologize for any mistakes on my part. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. We have a few more questions here. One question. Let's see. There's a question here. One question is, can I just recite one ratib? Ratib al-Haddad or ratib al-Atas daily? Yes, you can. You can. You can choose one if you want to choose one. You can do both. You can do both. So it's really you can. Another question: if you are in the company of people who may not necessarily always have the best intention of others, best intention of others. And these are people whom we can't always distance ourselves from. For example, mother, husband, family members. How can we help ourselves with a good opinion of others instead of questioning if our stand is right? Okay, if these people, I don't get a question about not having the best intention of others. I don't understand that, but what do you mean? Do you mean the best opinion of others? Or people not having the best intention when they do things? Because I don't know how to bring the word intention to others. Okay, you mean opinion of others. Basically, their opinion of other people is the state of their heart. And your opinion of other people is the state of your heart. Right? And it's one lot, when people have bad opinions of other people, right? If you are someone with sound heart, right, you will straight away, reject what they say and say like, oh, how you know that? You don't know that, right? But maybe they're doing something else. And maybe, and so you come up with reasons of why they are the way they are, right? So in a sense, really, your opinion of other people is a reflection of the state of your heart, right? It's a reflection of the state of your heart, right? So it's regardless of what they think. It should be regardless of what they think. It should be regardless of what they think, right? So if you are so affected by what they think, then that is a sign that your heart is still, problems are in your heart, right? So like, for example, a good example, if someone, Muhammad, let me give you an example. Okay, if let's say I see Hababa, for example, if I see a teacher, Ustada, whatever, pray the wajib prayers, and then she gets up and walks away and she leaves, right? Okay, someone having a bad opinion will say, what say this Ustazah? Not praying sunnah and not sitting down and zikr after prayer, whatever. Right? Someone having a good opinion, right, would say, oh, maybe she has, like her child at home to attend to, or maybe her husband is waiting for her, or maybe, she has, she has to go to the bathroom, whatever, maybe, and then you will say to yourself, none of your business, right? None of your business. What are you wondering what other people for, right? That kind of thing. So in a sense, it's really your heart. It's your heart. Another question here. Let's see. Another question here. So really, if you want to have a good opinion, you got to purify your heart. You have to cleanse your heart, right? If you keep questioning, that means you have problems in your heart, right? So how do you cleanse your heart? Do a lot of istighfar. How do you keep istiqamah in the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Yes, I've always desired to change myself, get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's hard for me to not focus. How do I keep pushing myself to do better? Okay, this is something we did in Minhaj al-Abidin. Basically, one thing first, step by step, make small changes, right? And be consistent on these small changes. And then to motivate yourself, remind yourself of the hellfire, right? So that you don't fall short, and remind yourself of paradise, because in the next world, right, the only thing people will regret is not doing one more tasbih, or going for one more majlis, or giving out one more dollar in charity, right? People will regret all these things, right? So you remind yourself, you don't want to be on day of judgment regretful, right? So you can do in this way, in hope and in fear. The adab of visiting the maqams. Adab, just very quickly, then I'll end the class. Adab of visiting maqams, first and foremost, to be in wudu, if you're able to be in wudu. If you're not in your menses, can be in wudu. And then secondly, to place your intentions, right? What are your intentions to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and so on, right? And then to come, and when you visited, right, to behave as if you are in their homes, right? Behave as if you are in their homes. So how will you behave when you go to someone's house, right? So you sit by the side, you respectfully, you sit down, right? You don't make noise, of course you don't talk, don't chatter, right? You don't use your phone and start texting people, right? Because even in someone's house, there is bad adab. You shouldn't be nowadays, like mashallah, people sit in front of other people and they're texting on their phone. You should bring your phone, you should just leave your phone aside, correct? Mashallah. And then you do your yasin, you do your recitations, right? There is a commentary that I want to make about the touching of graves. So in the Shafi'i madhab, to actually, to wipe and to touch and everything, or to and to kiss the graves, all that, the hukum is makruh. People don't know this, people don't know this. The hukum is actually makruh. And when I asked Hababa about it, she said that because it's as if you visit them, right? So they are not your mahram. They are not your mahram. If they are your mahram, then alhamdulillah, by all means, if they are your mahram, right? But if it's the man, like you wouldn't be kissing the Habib, or you wouldn't be like touching the Habib, in a sense, right? So it's actually under the hukum of makruh. You can look it up, right? So technically, for me, like I would sit by the side and I would just do my recitations, and then I would do my tawassul, my dua, right? And then and I will leave, right? Especially, and there's an adab also that if there are many people there, right, don't occupy the space. Don't like be courteous, right? And I've seen people like this, like like in the Rawda, I know people want to have the time versus some people want to, do more ibadah and everything, but be courteous, even at Maqam Habib, no, it's a very small space. If you see more people coming in, you should get up, right? Get up and do your reading at the musalla or something, right? Don't sit there for too long, because being courteous is higher, right? Courtesy is higher, right, than you being selfish and wanting in the space and then not allowing for other people to have their space. Inshallah. Okay, we'll stop there for today. الفاتحة أن الله يسلمنا وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ورحمة الله العالمين. الفاتحة أن الله يسلمنا من ويسر به قبل النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم الرحيم وعن من مشايخنا ونذكر إلى حضرة النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. الفاتحة. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Waalaikumsalam Ustazah.
Waalaikumsalam. Okay.